All right, so recently I've been kind of having some weird like idle issues. Like there's two bees up there trying to get, oh, three bees trying to get into it. Like you could just be doing perfectly fine, and all of a sudden it just starts stumbling and stuff, and like the idle just like goes down and then up and then down and up, like between 400 and 1,000 RPMs. And then you can give it some throttle and let it work through it, and then it's perfectly fine. So I've been doing some research, as you do when you daily drive a 35-year-old vehicle. And I think I may have found some issues. One of them is the IAC, and we'll try to clean that up in this video. So this is a Ford 2.9. It's fuel injected. And if you're watching this, you're probably having some issues too. Reading some comments on some forums from like 2007. These have never been known to idle good, like at all. But one thing that you can do, and one thing that a lot of people has messed with over the years, is this screw right here. Now, me coming from carburetors into early fuel injection like this, my monkey brain thought that that was for idle. Like, I don't know, it looks like it's attached to the butterfly, so you screw it in for higher idle and stuff. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who's messed with that. You're not supposed to touch that, like, at all. And I guarantee you I'm not the only one in this vehicle's lifetime who has touched it. So I think, actually I don't think, I know I'm going to go ahead and try to put it back in the factory specs, because I just tested it real quick and I'll show you how to do that. It is nowhere near it. So what that actually is my understanding, is to adjust your TPS sensor thingy. So from factory, these are dialed in, and it literally says in like a Ford manual, don't touch that. And again, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's touched that. And I guarantee you, if you've worked on these, you've probably tried to crank on that, try to get idle up and down. You ain't supposed to do that. So what you do is, you gotta get you a multimeter. This is my dad's, because mine isn't as smart as this one. So if you're like me and you have no idea how to use these things, the V right there with the squiggly on it is AC. And what we want to be is the V with like the railroad track looking thing over top of it, like with the dotted line and the straight line. So that's DC. And what we're doing here is going to your sensor. This is the throttle position sensor. I've replaced it with a standard ignition part because I thought that was my issue. And I'm kind of wondering if most of my issues was where I monkeyed around with this. So what you're wanting to do is probe the green wire. So I just got me a safety pin that like holds up a patch into my headliner, and I just poked it right through the insulation on that, because that was some people can go like right behind there and just get in with these, but I couldn't do that. This is literally from a form, again, from 2007 by Holy Ford 86. That's a name. Set your voltmeter to 0.2 settings. I don't know what that is. I just know I need DC for this. Ground it to the battery, which I did right there. Back probe the center, which I'm doing right there, I just showed you. And set TPS to 0.92 to 0.95 volts using the screw in the throttle body. So, I'm going to show you what mine's at. So, key has to be on. I'm just going to touch that to there. And you can see mine is 1.246 volts, which is too high. So, let's go and crank that thing down. And there went my safety pin. That's unfortunate, because I actually need that. Once you spend, I don't know, 30 minutes looking for that when you drop it, you just stick it in the back right there. That way you can do that. And then, you know, that works too. You do see this looked over quite a bit when people searching up for like a weird idle on a Ford 2.9. Okay, that's not doing anything, is it? What's the deal with that? I wasn't getting enough throw in this, so I backed it off all the way. And it still wasn't enough, so loosen the screws. There's at like 1.373. Now I move it up just literally a hair, and it drops that much. So on the adjustable ones, where all you get is just like throw moving it left and right, it's very common that people have to waller out the holes. So I think I'm going to try that and then come back and do it again. Okay, so I drilled that out more than I ever thought I was going to have to, or reaming out, whatever you want to call it. That may be close enough. It's a lot better than what it was. So I might have to do it a little bit more because I can't tighten that lower one without it barely pushing it down, like doing that. And then it's all out of whack again. I'm going to get everything out of the way and see how it wants to idle, see if I've done any good. Because I hope I did. I mean, everyone on the interwebs says this is how you do it. And I said I was going to clean that. I'm not going to do that right now because I want to tackle one thing at a time. That way, if something doesn't want to happen or do stuff, I know where to look. So, all this should be fine. I had it on a lot, like accessories. Surely it's not dead. Alright, well, I cleaned the terminals. The positive was pretty bad, but not enough to do what it's doing. Okay, so now we don't have fuel pumps, and it just kicked on right there. I'll acknowledge that, but I think that fuel pump really is bad again. That's going to be my third one. So it's somehow worse. That's good. Yep, there it goes. Well, what was that? Okay, so I thought that was power steering related, me putting a load on the engine. But it's idling around 850, maybe a little bit high, which is where the manual says it should be. That weird little hiccup it just did, I can't help but think that's like the other thing I was talking about, the air intake, whatever. But it's not hiccuping like it was, and it's pretty warm. It's not hiccuping like it was, like it usually does at idle here. Usually it feels like a miss. And I've got the voltage at idle at like 1.1, and the forums say you need to be around as close to 1 as possible. And I'm scared to ream that out a lot more because that plastic's getting pretty thin. So I think I may leave it here. But this thing is idling super good. I thought there's something wrong with it. It's never idled below 1,000. Now that weird fuel pump issue, I don't know what to do about that. I may try to go to O'Reilly's. Just said like, hey, this is the third one I've got, and like it don't work, or it's starting to go out because it's doing the same thing the other ones were doing. All right, so I'm taking this apart. I sprayed it down with carb cleaner before I left to go eat dinner. And I read on a forum that to really clean it, you got to take it apart. So I'm gonna do that. It's really not that bad in there, and I can tell you that that's fine. I guess this is just a motor. I don't know. So real quick, I also read that read this while eating dinner. Keep in mind, again, I'm just putting a lot of faith in random people on the internet, but it sounds reasonable. The computer considers the throttle closed when the TPS reads anywhere from 0.59 volts to 1.22. So with that logic, I'm in the range of it thinking it's idle. So because what it's doing is, I didn't explain this at all, I don't think. So you got TPS right here saying that it's reading like it was a 1.34 when I first tested it. You got TPS saying that, oh, he's giving a little bit of throttle. Then you got the manifold air pressure thing on the firewall saying that it's not giving it throttle because it's reading manifold pressure. So you got these two things fighting each other, and it's just giving you a rough idle because it's honestly just confusing the computer. So yeah, that's a lot of the issues with these 2.9s. But yeah, I'm gonna clean this up and throw it back on there and see what it does. It is pushing 9:30, which is past my bedtime. Well, it died for good. I think that relay may just kick the bucket, like for good this time. It's good that it did it in my garage. Up. That's fantastic. What happens here is, if you don't have any fuel pumps for some reason, look at these two look at these two. Oh, that's, hold on, do it again. Okay, this is the one clicking. I'm not feeling this one click, so that makes me question which one it is. All right, to test these, all I did was pulled this one off, which I think is the bad one. Now I'm gonna test this one, see if it's consistent. I don't remember which one's the jumper, but it's one of these two. Let's just leave that there, see what it does. See if it starts clicking. So that's another thing. If this quits on you going down the road, all you need is a piece of wire to get the fuel pumps on and to get going. So there's your lesson. I haven't had to do that quite yet. So I picked up these Ford splash guards or mud flaps or whatever at a swap meet a while ago. I've got one mocked up on the truck. I don't know. I was gonna put them on, but I don't really think I like them. See, from this angle, I do. Looks pretty good, but like from up here, it just looks weird right there. It just looks out of place. I don't know. All right, so I kind of just left that attached on there with the vice grip while I ate lunch and kind of just stared at it, and it kind of grew on me. So went ahead and did that. They're just on there with hardware I could find here at the house. Just, I guess, Allen heads, I don't know. This I've mounted. I stole the mounting hardware off of one of these relays down here. That was just laying there anyways. So that's standing up right there now. Hopefully with that and it's sealed up, no water should get in there. So we're gonna see how this thing will idle, because this is gonna be completely cold. It's like 70 degrees, so it's not gonna be a true cold start, but you know, it's fine. Okay, that's normal. It does that sometimes. There it goes. I mean, it's pretty smooth. Used to, it'd go up to like 18 to 2 grand warming up like this, and now it's just kind of doing that. So I don't know if that's any better, but it feels pretty smooth in here. I really need a third hand. That's fine. It's running fine so far. Idling a little bit high, but idling high, but that's because it's cold. Okay, let's run off the road. Yep. Now let's go to third or fourth actually. There we go. First to fourth doesn't, you know, that's not how it's supposed to work. It's running fine. So I'm gonna let it get up to temperature and then see how it wants to idle from there. So I'm back at the house. It's dropped actually right around where it's supposed to be, I feel like. It hasn't done that funky little idle thing yet, so I can live with that. Let's look how the mud flaps, so the splash guards, whatever, turned out. I actually like those. You can't even really tell that they're there unless you look at them, so that's nice. Not even, oh, I got a wire hanging down, that's fine. They're not even that crooked.
Nice. I'm gonna sit here and watch this thing idle for a while, and if it does something weird, I'll come back, but if not, thanks for watching.